Alrighty, so we're back here again with the Cincinnati Dynasty. So what I did was I ended up simulating the season once that I got off to a 6-0 start, and I ended up finishing 1-5 in those simulated games. However, my signing and my recruiting stayed on point all year round. I kept doing exactly what I did in the first couple videos, which is monitoring them from week to week. What guys were trending in the right direction. I got visits set up with complimentary visits. I pretty much just made sure that we stayed with the best team. I searched for guys in the all prospects. I didn't go one time to my preferred people, which are going to be the people you start out with in the green, the guys with interest towards me. I always I played the percentages. So with doing that and making sure that I used my points correctly in the offseason, I was able to finish extremely strong on signing day. I got 20 commitments on this team. Of that 20 players, we put together the number one class in the country with 2 5-stars, 12 4-stars, and 4 3-stars. And I only took 20 people. As you can see, most of the people behind me, nobody has less recruits than me until number 6, which is going to be Alabama. They had 3 5-stars. So I cleaned house. I did really good work, and I didn't have any needs this year because I took care of all that at the beginning of the year with how I redshirted people, and because of that, this is pretty much just like getting a whole new team, and that's really going to help me out when it comes to position changes and cut players. So as you can see, I got a 5-star athlete and a 5-star center. I signed about 5 athletes, and we're just going to kind of see how we can use those guys when we get the position changes, and that's really going to, those guys are like, you can flex them to whatever side of the ball you need. I was able to sign a quarterback early on. However, I was able to get in on another quarterback who was much, much better in terms of overall rating later on, and that's why you see that I signed 2 quarterbacks. However, I do have a plan there with what I'm going to do, and it's going to help me out in the long run a lot better too, which we'll get to here in a little bit. You see, I didn't focus on just one side of the ball. Other than my athletes, you can see I'm a pretty fair split between offensive and defensive players. I got a couple corners. I got some defensive linemen. I was able to get some linebackers that were really high priority targets for me, and also, getting one guard. I wasn't able to do very good on the offensive line like I was hoping, but we got some good players here. Let's go and take a look at my team. The one player that I wanted to get that I wasn't able to was this wide receiver. As you can see, Alabama slotted all their points to him, but they pretty much had to spend 10,000 points to get him away from me. So I'm not gonna spend 10 grand on a guy that on a position I don't need. So, or that I can flex one of these athletes out to. So I probably got at least 2 or 3 wide receivers out of those guys anyway, or possible wide receivers out of those guys anyway. But you can see I got a very big outside linebacker away from LSU. You see I took a guy away from Notre Dame. I had to be UNLV out for this guy. Western Kentucky here. Temple. You can kind of see where most of those matchups are going up against mostly smaller schools, a couple big schools. We come down here. I beat out Clemson, Oklahoma, and Michigan. I beat out Texas, South California, and Ohio State. Ole Miss out for this guy. Ohio, a 4-star guy there. Toledo, 4-star guy there. Bowling Green, another 4-star guy. Mississippi State was really my only competition, and Arkansas there. And then, Utah State, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Ohio State on that guy. North Carolina State and Rutgers. But you can kind of see where I'm aiming most of my competition. Most of these guys do not have big schools recruiting them, and that's what really sets me up to win those battles. So, like I said, we signed 20 guys there. Pretty good recruiting class. Good haul. We're going to position changes. I'm gonna walk you through how to do position changes. I'm gonna let my dog out first, though. We're going to put these blinds up so we can keep an eye on her. So we've made 2 position changes. And now what we're trying to do is, and again, this is going to help with your needs for the next season as well, is you're trying to evenly distribute each position group. So your safeties, you want to even those out if you can. You want to obviously have enough corners. You want to make sure your linebacking core, left and right side, is going to have enough guys, or an even amount of guys. And the good thing about that is that when you have a linebacker and you keep them at a linebacking position, you're either going to gain points on the outside linebackers by moving them inside, or you're going to keep them at the same amount if you move them to the other side of the field. So I moved my freshman right outside linebacker to the left side, so now I have 3 on each side. I need to undo that. Let's see here. I got my middle linebackers. I'm good there. I need 3. I've got 4. Left outside linebackers. I've got 3. I need 2. I've got 4. I need 2. So I'm good there. Let's see here. Defensive tackles. I'm going to need some help there. That's going to be a big need. So what I can do and what I will do is I will move this guy to the defensive tackle position. I'm going to keep – actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this guy to defensive tackle. I'm going to move – where do you go? This guy to left end. And then that way I have a pretty good little base here. I'm gonna need another defensive end. Offensive line, I need 2 at each spot. So left tackle and right tackle are good. Right guard and left guard. Ooh, left guard's really good. They don't need a whole lot. As far as center goes, I already got one. I'm just gonna move him over here. Man. And now you're just doing musical chairs and trying to see what's going to get you the best fit. I don't really need this guy there. And what I'm really looking for is trying to spread these seniors out to each position, which doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. So I've got pretty much 1 or 2 at each spot. So offensive line is good. Wide receivers, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8 wide receivers. None of them really stand out to me. They're all older guys and they aren't really good. This is probably my best wide receiver long term, just because he's a freshman. Fullback, I signed a fullback in this class. He's not great, but he's not bad either. Now I redshirted a couple guys for the running backs, but I need to kind of utilize my athletes the best way possible to fill up that. I've got enough quarterbacks. This guy, again, obviously my best quarterback long term. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make sure we got that all straightened out. Okay, so now we kind of have some idea about what we've got with our athletes, and we are going to go ahead here and start distributing them. I always check defensive side of the ball first, because I'm always going to need help on the defensive side of the ball, and it really is going to help us out if we can get them in the defensive backfield, because of the fact that it's an easy way to go ahead and get you started with getting pretty good defensive backs, uh, and build up that rating. It's an easy way to recruit your defensive backs is to get them as athletes. So I've already got a quarterback. Don't really want to use him there defensively. So this guy could be a pretty good safety, and he could be a pretty good corner. So I'm gonna move him to that free safety spot where I just moved that other guy and see if I can't move him to corner. I really would want to use him as a corner, and his best shot is really going to be at safety, unless I move him to the offensive side of the ball as a wide receiver. So we're just going to do that. Again, a good free safety, kind of okay corner. And so he's going to be a defensive player no matter what. I'm going to put him at corner. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, Lord. Was that him? I feel like that was him. Oh, my goodness, what did I do? There he is. Oh, boy. Got to get all the way back to the athletes, man. Come on now. All right, so now we're going to go work on this guy, see where we can't put him. And here's the big deal here is that he could be a defensive tackle, which is really good. He could also be an offensive lineman, which is something that I really need a lot of help with. So defensive tackle is kind of my bigger need right now, so I'm going to move him to defensive tackle. This guy's most obviously going to be a linebacker or an offensive lineman. Oh, wow, no. He's a 6'7" wide receiver? Good grief. Or a running back. I would move him to wide receiver because that's good to get some height out there, but good God, that's a tall guy. And I'm pretty sure this guy's a running back too. Man. Any defensive help? Corner? Free safety? What about this guy? Does he have any defensive back in him? Nope. So, smart thing for me to do here, they're both 77 overall. I'm going to move this guy to corner, and let's take a look at my corners now. I'm pretty sure I added 2 over there, so yeah, I'm pretty set up at corner now. I've got a couple really young guys that are going to be kind of my aim for who I want on the, oh my gosh, this guy. I really hate that I have to use him at corner, but got to fill those needs up early while you can. And it's such a shame. I've had 2 really good running backs, but okay, so I've used up all my athletes. I've evened out my positions, and I need to still. I'm pretty sure. I thought I signed a running back, or just a regular running back, but I guess I didn't. So I'm still going to be going for a running back this year, and other than that, we're going to be redshirting again. So we're going to keep our changes there, and we're going to take it to cuts, and then we're going to see who is going to be playing at Cincinnati, and who is going to take an exit. It's no offense, but it is what it is. So, cut players. And this is pretty simple. You're just getting rid of all the guys that really suck. So, my goal is if you're not going to play in the future, you're not going to be on the team now. So, let's see here. At the same time, you're also trying to keep your pipelines intact. So, this guy is a junior, and he's got 4 underclassmen ahead of him. He's not ever going to play, so he's done. Let's see here. That guy I should cut, but I'm going to hold off on it right now. Keep him for depth. That guy, I'm going to cut him. Left end, I'm going to keep those guys. Keep those guys. Defensive tackle, we're good. Left outside linebacker, we're good. Middle linebacker. This guy is done. I'm getting that freshman right there. That dude's going to be good. So I want to get him reps behind my sophomore. So he's done. This guy, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to redshirt him. Keep him. I'm going to redshirt him. Let's see here. I'm going to keep those guys where they're at right now. Strong safety. I'm going to keep doing. Make sure I don't have any extras there. And all right. So this is the guy that I signed before this guy. And I've got a bunch of guys from Ohio. So I'm cutting this dude right now because I don't need him. This guy, I'm cutting him. And finally, let's go back to the wide receivers. Trying to cut some skill position players. I'm going to cut this guy, which I feel bad, but he only had 117 yards receiving last year, and there's a sophomore behind him that's probably going to be better. So I'm gonna keep that guy, and we're done. We've got our roster for the next season. All right, so we are advancing to the preseason now. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start year 2. Year 2 is going to be a lot more difficult to recruit because of the fact that I did finish 7-5 this year. I finished 1-5, and I didn't go to a bowl game because my schedule wasn't difficult because I made it that way, thinking that maybe they'd be able to pull a couple more wins, get to like an 8-4 record, and maybe 9-3. Didn't happen. So this year, I'm redshirting again. And I'm redshirting all my freshmen and some sophomores. So, again, you're going to have a lot less guys on your roster than what you normally would. But by year 3, your team is going to be kicking, okay? By year 3, your team's going to be kicking. So, we've got we're fixing to go into year 2. Year 3, you're going to start using the players that you've recruited in year 1 and year 2, and those guys are going to be your starters. And then by year 4, you're talking about a BCS bowl, and by year 5, you're talking about year 4 and 5, you're talking about like a national championship possibility. So keep that in mind. Redshirting players again. We're going to quarterback. We're going to redshirt our really good quarterback, R.J. Brown. We are going to redshirt our good but slow freshman back that we got there. We can't redshirt him. We're going to redshirt both of our wide receivers. Now, by next year, those guys will be either 78 and like a 75, I bet. We're going to redshirt our tight end. We are going to let him go. We are going to redshirt him, and we're gonna we're gonna let him go. We're gonna redshirt our left end freshman. We're gonna redshirt our right end freshman. Redshirt both of these guys. And where's that linebackers that we signed this year? We're gonna redshirt both of them, and we're gonna redshirt him. So that's going to lock down our need on the right outside linebacker. Not so much for the left outside linebacker. But we're good. So for the corners, we're going to redshirt all 3. Those guys will all be mid-70s and low 70s in this guy's case. For the next season, But you can see the disparity. If you average 4 extra points or, even 5, these guys will be above these guys by their freshman redshirt year. Their sophomore redshirt year, excuse me. So you're talking about they're pretty much a whole year ahead of these 3 and pretty much pressing on these 2 already. So, and if I really want to be a head case, which I do, I would redshirt him. But I'm not feeling it right now, so I'm not going to. I'm going to redshirt this guy, and of course I'm going to redshirt this guy. Here's the deal now, and this is where it gets difficult for us, is that we have to win games this year. We got to. So we're going to not play Ohio State. We're going to play Bowling Green. We're going to play a different team in a different conference, which I'm thinking Florida Atlantic. We're going to... We'll play our rivalry game, and we'll just switch this around. We'll play Wyoming. And we can't get out of that one. It's a rival conference game. And, yeah, okay. I think that's all we got now. So, yeah, we got 1, 2, 3. Only 3 non-conference games. So, we got that all set up here. We're going to set up our recruiting board. We're not creating players because we ain't cheaters. That's bullshit. All right. Man, I love hitting the end of that Route 44 drink. Best part of the whole drink. So we're going to all prospects again. Now you can see this guy. Now you can see that we got a little bit better targets this year than what we had last year. So we're going to take a lot of the 3-star and 4-star guys that are like 70 and above. 66 I'll take. 67 I'll take. All the guys that have us as their first interest, and they seem pretty high on us. We're going to take them. Also, we're going to take the 4-star guys. We don't so much want to take the skill position people just because they're kind of trash. Except for the corners. And, yeah. So that's good for right there. What we're going to do now is we've got our quarterback. We need a running back. A really good running back at that. And I see this guy. And I like him. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go for number 1 running back. Wide receiver. Boy, that's gonna be a Nebraska guy. Georgia, Texas. Look for Texas. Boy, that's tough. Man. None of these guys have the importance that I need. The categories that I want. I'm gonna focus a little bit on the offensive line again. There we go. That's a possibility right there. What's my team needs right now? I should look at that. So I need another center, I need a kicker, and I need a punter. I hate having to get a kicker and a punter in the same year. Alright, we're going to quit screwing around here. We're going to go to kickers. The number 1 kicker, I want him. And the number 1 punter, I want him. Ooh, no I don't. I want the number 2 punter. So, I've added 3 guys to my board now. I'm up to 21 targets. Let's see if we're going to keep any of them. keeping the kicker, keeping the wide receiver, keeping the punter. Ooh, definitely keeping the punter. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And we're just going to kind of go down the line and see if we need to replace anybody out here. Like the tight end, we don't want him because that's a bust big time. We'll keep him. We'll keep him. Ooh, man, we're getting worse and worse here. So he's out of the question. I don't take corners that are like that, and I don't take wide receivers that are like that. So we got a good little group here to start out with. We're not going to be able to, spend out that many points anyways. So we pretty much got most of our preseason done. I feel pretty good about the team that we have. I'm going to get all my insta-commit points, so that helps me out whenever I get into the season. And I think that we're going to call it a wrap on this video. But that's how you roll with the offseason and your cuts, position players, and going into your second year preseason.